1951 was the last year of our historic streetcar system. We had nearly 300 miles of streetcar track in Cincinnati that went all over the city, and many of our neighborhoods were based on the streetcar system. Coincidentally, our population peaked at 500,000 in 1951, the last year of the streetcar system.
We have the beautiful buildings, we have the infrastructure in Cincinnati with the arts and culture and sports and all these types of things, and we have to have solid transportation as a part of that puzzle.
We had a civic engagement event a few years ago when the streetcar was starting. We had talked about the need for public transportation.
I see the streetcar as the nucleus to a much broader, more sophisticated transit network in the greater Cincinnati area.
For me, the inspiration on building the streetcar isn't about, riding down to the banks and seeing a Reds game or coming back up to Findlay Market. It's taking us from a bus-only city to now we're a multimodal city.
We see our peer cities like Pittsburgh, for example, has light rail and a subway. Kansas City is moving forward with a streetcar system. So for us to stay competitive, for us to continue to grow our population, be economically competitive, we need to stay on top of these things.
This new generation, they're looking for cities where they want to live, work, and play, and build their lives. Transit is an integral part of a successful, vibrant city. It's not going to be a nice to do, it's going to be a need to do.
The streetcar is an example of one project that became a lightning rod and a rallying point.
With the streetcar project, I was just a citizen like anybody else.
We just started getting these boards and maps and doing presentations at open houses and different downtown events. We set up CincyStreetcar.com, we did the Twitter and the Facebook, started getting people involved in a real grassroots effort.
The streetcar was a highly debated issue at that point. It took a lot of effort from the citizens to come together, prove that there was a need and a want for this public transportation to be installed in the city.
For us, a tipping point we really felt was when we started going before council, having a lot of people speak and start winning those votes. That really showed us that, hey, this isn't just a grassroots thing. We have politicians behind us, we have the community behind us, and we're really starting to move the needle and make a difference.
It was interesting watching the streetcar progress to where it is today, because there were a lot of struggles and hurdles through the city to get things cleared and approved.
I'm a resident that moved to Over the Rhine after the decision was made to put in the Cincinnati streetcar.
After our first vote on the streetcar in 2009, I bought my condo.
As there were more and more hurdles, more people came to the rescue to show that we do want the streetcar and that we do need public transportation in this city.
Believe in Cincinnati was the grassroots effort that came together after the last mayoral election to make sure that the streetcar happened in Cincinnati.
The project was being stalled and held up, and so I felt it was important myself as a resident to get involved.
It was amazing how many people came out, how many hours of testimony, how many eloquent speakers we had from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, and just really how the community rallied around the project.
The young professional community turned out to show their support.
What was great about seeing the groundswell and all the types of people coming out was, it was a lot of young people, but it was people from different backgrounds, people who lived in downtown, people who didn't live in downtown, and so it was really nice to see a broad base of support.
As more and more people are moving to the city, they want these options available.
Now we have rail, and we can expand that. We can expand to northern Kentucky. We can put light rail on these tracks because they're designed for both.
Before, we were just every other middle-sized city. I think what this does is it kicks us into a new group of cities that we will compete with on the national and international stage.
Over time, I've come to have a voice. You're seeing more of that today as we have new young professionals moving into Cincinnati and getting involved.
When I moved back to Cincinnati, I wanted to improve it, make it a better city. And one of the great things about Cincinnati is that you can get involved. The city's big enough that you have opportunities, but small enough that you can yourself make a difference if you try for it. That's the kind of city I want to live in.